No, the Holocaust will never happen again, nor a tenth of it, anywhere. I'm definitely no friend to Israel, but I would be worse than anybody if I ever made light of the Holocaust. Anyone who denies the Holocaust, disputes its death toll, minimizes its significance, humorizes it, or worst of all, wishes for a repeat, is a psychopath who has lost all touch with humanity. 6 million people who had done nothing wrong were murdered because they happened to have come out of Jewish wombs, or because their mothers or fathers had come out of Jewish wombs. 6 million men, women, children, and babies, the vast majority of whom had nothing to do with politics, war, or even religion, were shot, drowned, hacked to death, gassed, burned alive, like so many lice instead of human beings. They weren't even given a chance to submit and be ruled as slaves, their very existence was deemed too offensive to be permitted. And all the grim, depressing weight of that sacred fact must stand, whatever our political opinions. Isaiah chapter 5 verse 25 seems to imply that a second Holocaust for Jews is possible in the future. Therefore is the anger of the Lord kindled against his people, and he hath stretched forth his hand against them, and hath smitten them, and the hills did tremble, and their carcasses were as refuse in the midst of the streets. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. This verse cannot apply to the Holocaust committed by Nazi Germany because Isaiah chapter 5 verse 26 clarifies that it will be a Holocaust committed not by a single country such as Germany but by multiple nations from afar. Now that peace is being made with Israel's Arab neighbors. Now that Iran and Syria fear Israel. Now that, in any event, there are relatively few Jews left in Europe largely due to events 80+ years ago. Add this to the fact that atrocities tend not to be committed by democracies even if there was sufficient hatred in their countries to bring them about, which there isn't. We often used to say that should the shit hit the fan here in the UK we'd buy a ticket to Israel and just go. It was never a likely scenario. Now it's simply not going. Everything is possible. There are mass persecutions of people going on right now, which is why contingencies exist. The Israeli government is generally committed to preventing cases like that against Jews, and they've proven themselves capable of certain activities to an extent that even the US isn't capable of.